All right, so I want to welcome everybody. If you are just tuning into the second recording, we're going to do our demo of the week one assessment before we do the demo of the week one assignment. And the reason why is the assignment's kind of fun and I can put that together relatively quick to show you, but the assessment's a little bit more involved. So I kind of have a little synopsis of it on the slide, but you're going to want to make sure that you go in and read over everything in the assessment. There's text that's provided for you to download. So I'm going to download that first. Click the little arrow and that'll download it. And find that, and I'll drag that into my week one assessment, and I'm just gonna make a folder called old. I'll put my old one in there. There we go. And you'll notice that, there's a whole little reading on setting type and everything else. I'm not, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to read all of this for you, but I will go over the prompt again. So for this assessment, you will be setting a page of type to some very detailed specifications. The text is provided for you to download. You're going to use InDesign and follow the specifications that you were given below exactly. You are not being graded on any type of creativity for this assessment, only how well you understand the terminology, typesetting tools, and follow the specifications. So finding the fonts and type kit and referring to the typography terms above, you're going to set up your document and typeset the text provided to the following specifications. So we're going to use InDesign. So let me start up my InDesign. And I'm in CC 2018. That was the latest version to be uploaded, or to be downloaded, I should say, to upgrade. What's the word? Sorry. Mr. Gohan came downstairs with me and immediately went into the trash can right while I was sitting there, which is a new one. Dogs, right? All right, so we're going to do an 8.5 by 11 document, and I want to show you a little tip. If you haven't done this yet in InDesign, and you'll notice that I don't have anything open yet, so you'll want to do this before you open up a document or before you create a new document. You can go up into the InDesign CC preferences and go to units and increments, and you can change it. Defaults to pixels, and if you were like me, or defaults to picas, maybe picas and points, I don't remember. I've fixed it a million times. Change your horizontal and your vertical to inches, and it'll make it so much easier for you. Then your rulers will be set in inches. Everything will be set in inches. I don't know about you, but I do not visualize things in picas. And then just hit OK. And then from there on out, every time you create a new document, it will be in inches, and it will, except for this one, because I had used pixels last time I did something in my recent. And then you can go over to print and do a letter, 8.5 by 11. And how many pages do we need? Let me see, it does not say. Headline, baseline grid, margins, body copy, drop cap. I think we only need one page. They changed this assignment from the last time I did. The last time it was something like 14 or 10 pages. It was pretty long. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to change our margin to be 0.5 inches on all four sides. So I'm going to go up into Layout, Margins and Columns, and make sure I have it set to 0.5 inches. That's what I must have done last time, so it was still there. And then I need to do 2 columns with a default gutter. So 2 columns, and the default gutter is 0.1667. So just leave that as is and hit OK. Next, I need to have a baseline grid set to the top of the page in 14-point increments. Recommended to set to 50% view. All right. So again, baseline grid, InDesign, preferences, grids, and it needs to be 14 point increments. 14, view threshold 50%. And does it give me a set to the top of the page? So I'm going to set it at 0 relative to the top of the page, 14 point. And I'm going to change it to magenta just so I can see it better and hit OK. This is the weird thing. The view is the weird thing on this grids. Let me try the gray. And 75%. Why can I not? Oh, do I not have them turned on? Show baseline grid. There we go. I just right-clicked and I went to grids and guides. Show baseline grid. So if you have not done that, show document grid. Nope, not that one. It's not just me, I always have a problem with this. Hide document grid. Getting my baseline grid to show. Grids. 50%, let's try 40%. Sometimes you have to go down, which makes no sense. All right, let's try starting at 0.5 and see if it adds it. Take out grids and back. There we go, all right. So you might have noticed what I had to do was I had to unclick grids and back. Now I can reset it to 0. 14 point, my threshold, I have it at 40%. I'll try it at the 50% and see if it shows up. And it does. There we go. All right. Always something with the baseline grids. Headline, I need to have Arial, narrow, bold at 61 points. All right, so I should open up my doc file and see what my headline is. And you aren't going to retypeset any of this information into InDesign. You are going to just copy and paste it from Microsoft Word. So that way, you won't have any spelling or grammatical errors. All right, the art of typesetting. This is our headline. Go figure. We need it to be Arial, narrow, bold, 61 point, tracking 10, center aligned. So I am going to draw a type box, and I don't like that my grid isn't starting where my margin is, so I'm actually going to go back in. I'm going to change that. I'm going to have it start, instead of at 0, I'm going to have it start at 0.5 relative to the top of the page and hit OK. There we go. It's a little bit, I didn't like that it wasn't starting. So I'm going to put my headline right on my top, that margin, the 0.5. And your font is going to default to Mini and Pro. That always happens in InDesign. So let's open up our character panel, which is Command T or character. I'm going to drag that out because we're going to need this. And we need it to be Arial, narrow, what is it? Arial, narrow, bold, which I have, and you should have 2 right here. 61 point, and tracking is 10, which your tracking is this one right here, the VA. I sometimes have to hover. I forget which one is which. And then I have everything set, and I'm going to paste it in. The art of typesetting. See, it goes right to the edge, and you might need to, you know, drag that off so you don't have any anything running out of your text box. Next up, create and apply the following paragraph styles. I need some body copy. So it's going to be Times New Roman, 10/14, left aligned with 0.125 inches of space after the paragraph, and I'm going to align all lines to my baseline grid. I'm going to have a drop cap, there's going to be a subheadline, and there's going to be some bullet points. All right, so let's find that body copy and copy and paste it in first, and then we'll set this up. Here's our body copy. So I'm going to just grab the rest of this. And I'm going to start my text box. I'm just going to draw a text box. Oh, I hate these rules. That's great. Close. And again, it's going to do Mini and Pro, I believe. And I need to have, whoops, body copy Times New Roman. New Roman, regular. New Roman regular, 10-point type over 14-point leading, left aligned, and 0.125 inches after my paragraphs. So if you don't have the paragraph tab open, you can go to Window, type in Tables, and go to Paragraph. That's where you're going to do this setting, the 0.125 inches after paragraphs. Where that is located is, if you hover, see where it says down here, space after, change that to 0.125. It's going to kind of run it off your page a little. And you need to align to the baseline grid. So I am going to move this down and all lines to the baseline grid. Drop cap, same as your body copy, set to 3 lines, apply to the first paragraph only. All right, so we need to add a drop cap here. A drop cap is usually the first letter, so I'm going to do the U. And this is located under type. Oh, where are you? Type. Not symbols, markers, hyphens. Nope. It's not a symbol. I always forget where drop cap is located. I usually just Google it. I believe. Drop cap, InDesign. Paragraph style, that's right. So we're going to go to Window, Styles, Paragraph Style, and you're going to need to create a new style. Double click on that, and drop cap. We want it to go 3 lines, 1 character, aligned to the left edge, and okay. So 3 lines. Close that, and that's how you look up something if you're not quite sure where it is. And we'll apply that to the first paragraph only. Subheadlines. Arial narrow bold 14-point tracking 10 center aligned. Oh, and I didn't center align this. I need to center this. So I'm going to drag this out all the way to both edges, and I'm going to center that. Character paragraphs, there we go. And what are my subheadlines? Doesn't say. This is definitely my headline. I bet you setting type is my subheadline. Do I have another one? Oh, basic adjustments. There we go. All right. So setting type. And the easiest thing for me to do at this point is to create a character style or paragraph style for my body copy and my subheadline and then my bullet points. So that way I know that they're consistent. So this one right here, whoops, that is this edit, I'm gonna edit paragraph style 1, and I'm gonna name it drop cap. I'm gonna hit okay. And I need to make, let's select this first line. I need to make a new paragraph style. Double click on the name, whoops. And this is going to be character. I need to change it to Arial narrow bold. And 14-point type. And my tracking needs to be 10. And make sure I change that leading. It's going to default. I need to change that back to 14 because they haven't told me to change it. And hit OK. And I don't know why this became bold. Oh, it's weird. So to fix that quickly, I am going to paragraph style from this. I'm going to name it body copy. And Times New Roman 10, 14, and I'm going to hit OK. And then under drop caps, I'm going to say none. I'm just going to hit OK. And then I will fix this by selecting it and going body copy, selecting the rest of this, and doing body copy, and then going back up here to and hitting the drop cap. There we go. All right, so then this basic adjustments, this needs that same paragraph style. Oh, why didn't you say that? Basic paragraph. Good grief. All right. For some reason, it ended up overriding my basic paragraph, so I'm just going to select basic paragraph. There we go. And subheadings. Bullets, same as the body copy. Select the text starting with font families to right before the byline. Font families. Oh, here we go. Font family. I'm going to select this text, and I'm actually going to move this up. I'm running off the page here. I'll have to see if this fixes it, because I'm adhering to my margins, and I'm running right off the page. So let's see if the bullet points fix this. So I'm going to select those, and what do I need to do for this? All right, same as my body copy, so that means the same font. 0.125 in the tab position, no space after paragraphs added. Okay, so I'm going to remove under, where did that go? Pull this out. Paragraph, there we go. I find it easier if I have everything all set. I'm going to remove the 0.125, but set that back to 0. There we go. And I am going to go to this little gear right here. Oops, wrong one. There we go. To the hamburger. I'm going to go to bullets and numbering, and that's going to open up my bullet points. So I want to do bullets. And what are my specifications? Same as body copy, 0.125 in the tab position. 0.125. The tab position is this last one right here. No space after paragraphs added. I fix that. And create a character style and apply to the first word only in each bullet. Times New Roman semi-bold. 10/14. I'll hit OK, and then I will create a new one. Which this should have moved this. So let's see why it didn't do that. Let's take a look at that again. Nope. Nope. Don't know why it's not. It should be lining them up underneath your bullet point, but for some reason, it's not doing that. What happens if, there we go. All right, if you would like it to do that, what you can do is, and you really should do this because it'll look better. Go in and hit Shift, not a hard enter, a Shift enter, and then hit Tab, and try not to have any widows and orphans. So maybe move or down to the next line and hit Tab. Shift enter, Tab. Shift enter, Tab. Shift enter, Tab. And what it's doing is it's aligning them, the lines, and this looks cleaner. So do this for each one. So I'm holding down Shift and enter, then I'm hitting Tab, and it moves it over to where it needs to go. And if it's a word that has kind of broken up, you can move that down too. All right. All right, so next step, what I needed to do was create a character style and apply it to the first word only in each bullet, which is Times New Roman semi-bold 10/4. It says the first word only, so I bet you they meant up until the bullet, but oh well, we'll take him for the word. So Times New Roman. Let's see if I have semi-bold, which I do not, so I'm going to look for it in FontKit. Your computer might have Times New Roman semi-bold already on it. Whoops. And I spelled Times New Roman. I don't know if that's available on Typekit. It is not. All right. So if for some reason you do not have Times New Roman semi-bold, you can use regular bold, and I'm not going to be mad. Or you might have Times. I don't have semi-bold anywhere. I probably have it somewhere on my machine, but I don't feel like looking for it while I'm teaching. So I'm going to use bold. If I can find semi-bold on my machine, I will share it with you. All right, so I fixed that. I need to now create a new style. And, oh, you're going to want, in order to change just one letter in a paragraph, you can't make a paragraph style, so I'm going to delete this. Place with body copy. You need to make a character style. I'm going to actually just Command Z a bunch of times. So go up to Window, Styles, Character Style, and do a new character style, not paragraph style. And double click. Whoop. And based on none, and it is, that's fine. None plus bold is fine. Basic character formats. I'm going to do Times New Roman bold 10/14 and name it. I'm going to just name it first word. Hit OK. So now I'm going to go down to this word, change it to that first word. each bullet point. Oops, and you'll notice that bumped that down to the next line. So I'm going to hit Shift Enter Tab, and I'll move this line back up. So you always got to kind of be aware of what's happening when you change things from bold to regular and back and forth. There we go. And then the last one is the byline should be Times New Roman italic 8-point right aligned. So I'm going to make, I'll change this paragraph style. Double clicking it, that one that I never used. I'm going to name it byline and base it on body copy. Times New Roman, italic, 8-point type. And I need to make it right justified. So let's see. Alignment, right. I need to make sure there's no bullets. None. And hit OK. There we go. All right, so I need to keep all my text within the margins and align my text boxes. And you'll notice I did this all in one text box. But if I can't get this to line up correctly on my grid, I'm going to have to divide this into separate text boxes. And as you can see, I can't get this to line up on my grid. So my first paragraph is lined up correctly, but kind of going down, it's not, even though I did what I was supposed to do. So here's the easiest way to probably fix this. Hold down the Option key and drag this over while holding Shift. And what we can do is we can now just cut the text into new text boxes where we need them. I'm going to delete out everything except for that first paragraph. I'm going to close up this text box and just kind of get it out of the way. And I'll draw a new text box. So, and I'm going to grab my second. I'm going to actually delete out my first paragraph. So I'm going to do Command X and then Command V. Close that up. Try to line it up. There we go. And draw the next one. Grab my next paragraph. Command X. Command V. Move that down. Close it up. Draw my next paragraph or text box. Same thing, just keep, oh, I had an extra return there. Get rid of that. Command X, Command V. Next one. Command X, Command V. Now I'll zoom in to make sure I've got these right on my grid before I end. And then I'm going to do all of my bullet points. So just delete this. And X. I have to open this up a little bit. I'll move that up. I have to move a couple of these up. Well, that's getting pretty close. And then put, whoa, put the last one. Just use this actual text box and just kind of close it on up. Making sure it's right within my margin. Move by the art department. And put it right on the bottom margin. There we go. And save. You should definitely save earlier than I am saving. And name your file appropriately. So copy and paste that file name and convention. And make sure that you are in the right area. So week 1, assessment 1, S. McNamara. And you need to export your InDesign to a PDF and submit both to me. So we'll do File, Adobe PDF Export, do High Quality Print. Again, save it in the same folder with the same naming convention. And close that out. And before you submit them, make sure that you double check, especially that PDF, make sure everything looks right. Looks good. And close that out. All right. So as you can see, you know, that it's really tedious to do that. And you will, you know, go over the entire rubric. Make sure you didn't miss anything. And again, if you don't have that semi-bold, that's okay to use bold in that instance. Isn't it supposed to, it is supposed to be in 2 columns. Thank you. Good eyes. This is supposed to be in 2 columns. I see. I did miss a criteria. And that's why it didn't fit. All right, I'm not going to believe me, I can do this really quick. But yeah, very good eyes. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you how to, if you did the same thing as me and you're following along. I'm going to put a note that when I do this, that I did not do the 2 columns, that I missed the very first part. So I'm going to move that column. I should notice it. I don't actually like working in a baseline grid, and the reason why is that I miss some of my other points, like my second column. So I'm just going to quickly move this in. It's still not gonna fit correctly. So it still need the multiple text boxes. So you'd still need to do the same thing with the multiple text boxes. So you can kind of move everything over. And I would probably bring these down to this line, give yourself some room because now you have it. Or you can actually, yeah, you can probably put all your bullet points on the second column. And you'll need to fix where you do your returns. Which I can do quick. This is why typesetting and talking at the same time is a little bit difficult. And why I said you should probably be free from distractions when you're doing it, because there's so many intricate little details that you don't want to mess up. I'm glad I saw your chat. That's why I run the live session on both my iPad and on my computer, because I can't see the chat box when I'm working because it puts it all over the screen. So I really need to hide it or it gets in my way. So I try to run our live sessions on my iPad so that way I can see what everybody's talking about while I'm working. So I'm really glad I saw that, because in all honesty, if I had completely screwed this up and somebody had submitted it this way because I showed them the wrong way, I wouldn't have taken off points, because that really would have been my bad. And last one. There we go. All right, so that's how it should look. Save that. Probably move this up. I'm gonna put that one right there now, right on this last one before the break. Save it and export it again. Sorry about all the quick keys I just used to do that. And look it over. Now it looks correct. Very nice. And you would upload that and save your file. Make sure you always keep your native files. All right, so we've got about 5 minutes to go. So I want to really quickly make a very quick, very basic type face for your assignment. So I'm just going to show you how to set it up. I'm going to do mine in Futura. So we need to go into Illustrator for this. It's going to be 8.5 by 11 portrait. Inches, 8.5 by 11. One artboard. And create. And if you need to, turn your rulers on by hitting Command R. All right, so I'm going to set my font to Futura. And I'm going to use Futura Bold first. Go over to my type tool. I'm just going to click and type. And I'm going to put a little squiggly. I forget what this is called. And remember, it has to be all black and white. Change it to 250 real quick. Even 450. There we go. I've got some hair now. And next up, letter O. Not as big. Maybe 150, maybe even less, 100. So I'm going to make a copy of this by holding down Option and dragging over to the side. And I'm going to bring this one down to maybe do 90 points just for a little bit of depth. And for this, I need Futura bold, condensed bold. And maybe 55 point, let's see. No. Where's my Futura condensed bold? I have a million versions of Futura. There we go, on this machine. And I'm gonna rotate this. -90. Nope. Oh. Cancel. Not you. No. Whoops. That's why. Be careful that you don't put the same, like, two letters in the same on the same text plane. It might make it a little bit difficult. Rotate. Rotate is R, just hitting R and hitting enter. I need -90. There we go. Got some glasses now. And do a bullet point. Bullet point is option 8. One bullet point. Bring the size down a little bit on the other one. And I need a nose. Ooh, whoops. Careful not to skew things when you're trying to move them. Maybe 150. Maybe not bold, maybe just condensed or medium condensed. Let's try that. And then I need a mouth. You have an idea for a mouth. Rotate this. Yeah. Kind of give him a kind of a sideways grin. And then bring the size down on this to maybe 50. Again, rotate that. Move it like that. And do a little dimple right there. So I've got my face, and I'm going to put down at the bottom that it was created with Futura. So I'm going to name my font. I'm just going to use Futura Medium, which is kind of like the Futura Regular. And I'll do it in all caps. I'm going to group this. Make sure I have it nice and centered, kind of on my page. That's nice and centered. And I'm going to save this. And you need to submit a PDF, but don't forget to save your native file. So do a file save as. And make a folder for assignments in week 1. Oh, it's okay if I save over this one. And name your AI file, hit save. Mine's gonna wanna replace my old one, which is fine. And then also you need to do a file save as again and do that PDF, because that's what you're going to submit. And again, double check your PDF before you submit it, just to make sure everything looks correct. And there you go. That's what you will be submitting. And make sure that you read over all the prompts. Make sure that you read over the rubric before you submit it. All right, so I do apologize for missing the 2 columns in the assignment, but at least we fixed that in the end. I will be hosting our multi-session tomorrow. It will be from 4 to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you need some extra help, getting this assignment or this assessment going, or getting those the grids, the baseline grid, it's a little bit tricky. Like I said, it can be a little bit tricky to get that up the first time, to get it to show up correctly. So I'm going to just go back and show mine one more time, just so you can see it, kind of take a look. So it's under InDesign Preferences, Grids. Again, my mindset is light blue, starting at 0.5 relative to the top of the page, increment every 14 points, view threshold at 50%, and you have to unclick that grids in black. It's going to default to putting your grid in the back, which is why you wouldn't be able to see it. And then hit OK. And then you'll have your grid. And again, make sure that you set up those margins and columns as 2 columns with a gutter, and you can set it up this way. All right, so thank you everybody who was able to make it tonight. And again, if you have any extra questions, I'll be available via email, and please pop into the multi-session if you need some extra help tomorrow night. All right, have a great night, everybody.